Hi everyone, this is Ellie. The Lost Bloodline event is now out. This is similar to the Awakening launch where new main story is introduced, which is permanent, but there are time-limited aspects. So please check the event duration in your time zone. Per usual, I'll have the link to the official patch notes announcement in the description. Now, before we begin with the event overview, I want to preface by saying the difficulty of the main story stages has been lowered only for the duration of this event. After the event, you will need to complete Eden to unlock Lost Bloodline, and the difficulty will go up. That being said, the requirements for getting through this new main story are higher than Gacha and Eden, so if you are a brand new player, you may have trouble with this, but just try your best. Now, in the event main screen here, the Spirit World Exploration is where you farm materials using stamina, and please note this only becomes available after you reach a certain point in the common story. There will be two types of drops. One is to unlock story progression, and this will be different across male lead routes. So for example, Alcaides uses a Forest Spirit Seed, Clarence's uses Tower Ornament, and then Ain's uses Night Mist Scroll. And the other drop is the Spirit Totem that you use to buy items from the event shop. And the materials for unlocking the story and the story itself will be permanent. So these mailing specific ones I was just talking about, these are permanent. But the event shop currency, the spirit totems, is time limited, and there will be no further drops of these after the event concludes. Now, moving on to the next section, the totem exchange here is the event shop. Again, I previously mentioned event shop currency is the spirit totems here. This is time limited. There are two phases of the event shop this time. Phase 2 will unlock on July 3rd or 4th, depending on your time zone. One thing to note about the event shop this time, if you're planning on getting Pictura EXP, it's better to do so in practice rather than this event shop. Moving on to the next section, Lost Realm, here is the event gacha. I will talk more about this later, but that is how you can access that screen from the event. Now, the Skyward Path here is where you can access the story. Besides regular story stages, there will also be explorations. These are either observations, where you just read the dialogue, stamina-consuming battles, or dispatches. And the way the dispatch exploration works is that they will require you have a cumulative number of Illustra levels. For example, like the Shallows of Chrono Theater. The common route will have two dispatch explorations. One requires 100 total levels, the other requires 240 total levels. You cannot use the same cards in both, so make sure to spread out your leveled Illustras accordingly. Each male lead route will also have dispatch explorations. The cumulative level requirement there is 400, but you're allowed to request help. So for example, if we go in here to Alcaide's route I have unlocked, you can request help through this Get Help feature at the bottom left of the screen here that you can use to bring the level requirement down to 100 instead of 400. However, take note that asking for help does cost extra story materials, so beware of your stamina. Here you can just proceed with the original offer. For example, here it's 660, but you can also bargain with the male lead twice a day for essentially a different offer. But be careful, it's possible that your bargain result will be a higher price than the original, or sometimes they tell you that you need to come back another time. And so now a little bit more about the story. This is a new main story, meaning it will be permanent, and the story unlocking materials will still be farmable after this event concludes. There are 3 routes released with this event. Kale's chapter will be released in part 2 later down the line, and then Lars's chapter will be released in part 3, which is even further down the line. So if you're not in a rush and or you would like to complete the entire Lost Bloodline story in one go, you may consider waiting until parts 2 and 3 have released. In terms of the recommended reading order, this I will have in the pinned comment. By truth reveal order, which is also the official recommended order, it goes Alcaide, then Clarence, then Ein. By chronological or era order, it's Clarence, then Ein, then Alcaide. And you can just choose whichever you prefer. There is no challenge mode this time, but beware there are a lot of battles within the main story. Some can be kind of challenging, so please really take advantage of the Get Help feature if you're stuck. Now, if we move on to the gacha, per usual, we have the rate up choice function. I already used it. There is no SR rate up this time. It's all 5 SSRs. So whichever one you wish for, it guarantees that the first event SSR you get is the one you choose. However, for this event, the event SSR is guaranteed in the first 3 SSRs rather than the first 2 like before. It says right here, down here, first 3. Per usual, the specific rates are listed in details. Other important things to note. 1, although this is a main story update like Eden, these Illustras will not be added to the permanent pool. 2, and very important, pity for this banner is separate from other banners, meaning the pity for this pool only carries over to the Lost Bloodline rerun and not other events, and likewise, previous banners' pity does not carry over to this banner. 3, the ascended arts for these SSRs, let me show you here.
雨水不要侵袭你，
They are
强风不
horizontal
该压
and
迫你。
can be displayed as your login screen. And also, if you have at least 2 unique Lost Bloodline SSRs, you can permanently unlock a Lost Bloodline event login screen that you can access in settings and login here. So since this video is already pretty long and there's more stuff to cover, I won't be reviewing the Illustras here. The Illustra guides are up on my Notion site, which will be in the video description, so please check that out. And per usual, the link to our community Discord server will also be in the description. Now, moving on to the Pictura, there are 14 new Spirit World Picturas. They are not obtained through Gacha, but rather using the memory resharpen vouchers in the shop, so similar to the Eden ones right here. It says Random Pictura, the Spirit World, and they will be available here. I have a detailed Pictura set review on my Notion event page already, so I'm not going to go into detail about them in this video or else it'd just take too long, but Ein's Lakeside Melody and Clarence's Soul's Choice sets are good from a combat standpoint. Now, some other things to cover. If we go to event here, there is a time-limited top-up for the duration of this Lost Bloodline event, and you can access this through the event and then Lost Gifts here. There are various rewards, but what I want to point out is that at 3,280 top-up points, you will obtain the Lars SSR Faded Dominator. And my Illustra guide for this is also already up on my Notion site, so please check that out. Again, I want to mention that this is a time-limited top-up event, so spend responsibly. Next, there is Maple Reminiscence here. So after completing a series of these quests, you will obtain this Clarence SSR for free. And of note, there are 2 illustration styles for the unascended version that you can choose from. And please note that the final decision is permanent and irreversible. So it says right here, purple or yellow. And the last event I want to mention is the Gathering of Friends event. This is a returning player event, so you can invite players who are above level 15 but have been inactive for over 7 days to return to the game, and then both of you will obtain the rewards here. So that'll be all for this video. Hopefully this cleared things up. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions that have not been answered in the video. Again, some of the important information will be in the pinned comment, and so please like and subscribe.